Hello everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Crimbo. Today we will be making a cheese sauce using a bechamel base. Start by melting 2 tablespoons of butter over medium-low. For this, it's better to use unsalted stick butter, just because it's easier to measure out. For this, we're going to be making a roux, so we need equal parts butter and flour. Make sure to keep a close eye on your butter as well. You don't want it getting foamy or frothy or burning, so if you start to see that happening, just make sure you turn down the heat. Also, make sure to crack open your favorite caffeinated beverage. That'll help in the cooking process, of course. Here I'm starting to slowly add in my flour. You want to make sure you do it very carefully. Make sure you don't just dump it all in there at once. Pour a little bit in, make sure to stir to incorporate it, and then just keep pouring more and more in. Of course, we used 2 tablespoons of butter, so use 2 tablespoons of flour. So next we're going to slowly incorporate whole milk, about 2 cups worth. Make sure that as you're doing this, you're pouring, stirring it all together, and then pouring a little bit more in, just to make sure everything emulsifies and comes together. Here I'm scraping the sides of the pot just to make sure I get all of the roux off the sides and fully incorporated into the bechamel. So once you're done fully incorporating all your milk, go ahead and set it to medium and let it come to temp before you add in your cheese. Make sure that as you're bringing it to temperature, you're stirring it occasionally. Don't stir too hard, otherwise that might happen. So once our bechamel is up to temperature, we're going to go ahead and add in our cheeses of choice. I'm using about 1.5 cups of 3 parts cheddar to 1 part smoked gouda, but honestly you can use whatever cheese you want. Just make sure that it's not pre-shredded. Pre-shredded tends to come with potato starch on it just to keep the shreds from sticking together, so it makes it really hard to melt. Just like everything so far, we're going to start by adding little bits at a time, just to give it time to actually melt into the sauce, and that way you're not stuck with like a giant glob of melted cheese waiting for it to kind of dissipate into it. Just add little bits at a time, slowly increasing the amount that you add until eventually you get it all in there. After a while, you'll notice the sauce actually takes on a cheesy color, and this is exactly what we're going for. So now that we have all the cheese into the sauce, we're going to turn it down to medium-low just to make sure that we don't burn it. Now is a good time to actually taste your sauce, see if you like it, see if you want to add maybe more cheese or maybe a different kind of cheese. Maybe it's too thick, maybe you need to add a little bit more milk. Really just do what you need to do from here to get it to your liking. Now, in a large pot, add enough water to boil pasta and make sure you season your water. I like to use this Himalayan pink salt, but really just table salt or kosher salt works just fine. Now I'm going to set it off to the side on medium-high and let that come to a boil. Next, we're seasoning the sauce to taste using salt and pepper. Make sure you use like a pepper grinder. None of the pre-ground stuff. It just tastes a lot better. And actually taste it. See if you need to add maybe more salt or more pepper. Really just make it to your liking. Next, I'm going to be adding a little bit of MSG. It doesn't take a whole lot, just a quick little sprinkle. Contrary to common belief though, MSG isn't actually bad for you. There's no scientific evidence that gives you headaches or stomach aches or whatever the myth was. Next, we're just going to bring our pot of water to a rolling boil. In the meantime, I'm going to get the pasta out and ready. Make sure nothing's sticking together. Now that our water is at a boil, we're going to slowly add in our pasta, making sure we don't cause too big of a splash. Now, fresh pasta doesn't take very long to cook. Obviously, you don't need to use like homemade pasta for this. You could use whatever pasta you want, store-bought or otherwise. Now here comes the hard part. We're going to slowly add in our cooked pasta to the cheese sauce. See me struggling here a little bit? That's just because my tongs aren't really meant for this. thing I neglected to do earlier was take out the whisk. Obviously that would have helped. So once you got all your noodles in there, or as many as you could grab, just stir them around, make sure you get them evenly coated in the sauce. Make sure to grab your favorite soup bowls or soup cups for proper plating. So once you have the noodles evenly divided between you and your roommate, go ahead and grab a cup just to scoop out the rest of the sauce and get it between the two bowls. At this point, you're pretty much done. Just make sure to clean off the sides of the soup cups or the bowls or whatever you're using, and go ahead and plate to serve. But if you want some extra points, you can go ahead and toast up some breadcrumbs. I'm using panko breadcrumbs with a little bit of butter. They sort of clump up a little bit just because I didn't let the butter melt all the way, so make sure when you go to do it, the butter melts all the way before you start incorporating the breadcrumbs. Once you're done, just go ahead and pour them out to top your cheese pasta. You could also use bacon bits or any other sort of toppings you want. And that's it. You have a wonderful cheese sauce to go with pasta and maybe even macaroni if you wanted to. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and leave a like. If you feel so inclined, subscribe. Thank you.